Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio. Welcome to Policy and Rights, the show about human rights and government policy.
Hi, Annie.
Hello.
So, the big question right now is across Canada, because the Conservatives didn't get their way, or should I say the Albertan Conservatives didn't get their way. They're threatening to leave Canada. There's some serious problems with that, and will it actually work?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what they're thinking. I think it's almost, it's not even that they want to, and I mean, like, talk about just a really ill-conceived idea, and I would really say that I really truly believe that it's a couple of people, really noisy, and that I really do not think that the majority of Albertans would support such a move.
Yeah, so you don't think that while it's just a movement and it'll pass?
I think so. I mean, it's not the first time. I think, there's been rumblings before, and I think perhaps it will always be, right? I don't, it's not that, you decades upon decades, but this new kind of edge to it is, I think it's just the most extreme, like, right-wing folk, very much steeped in the concept of being by itself, and all this narrative of, Alberta helps, our oil serves the world, and so, we should be treated like kings, right? Like, whatever we want, we should be given it. And it's sad because it seems like a blind spot in terms of that they only see that the Conservatives can give them what they want. And it is a blind spot, because they really don't see that, oil and conservative, that might not be the only way. And even the troubles they do see in their province are because, to be quite frank, are because of conservative policies. So, that's why I think it really is, that it will pass, because I know people live in Alberta, I know people work in the oil and gas industry. I don't think every Albertan actually feels that way. They might vote conservative, but I don't think it goes to the extreme of, we deserve it all, and if you don't give it to us, we're going to leave.
Yeah, and Premier Kennedy may not be the hero that he thinks he is.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I see with Alberta, because they do have that oil-fueled economy, that they could actually become the leaders in green energy, especially for Canada.
Yeah.
They could actually use that money to fuel research and develop solar and wind in directions that we may not have thought of before.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, no, that's a great point. I really do believe that as well. Sadly, that's where we know that there's been mismanagement of money, right? There's been a mismanagement of that skill set. You look at Norway and what they did decades upon decades ago, when they decided that, okay, we're going to let people, we're going to let companies come to their oil, but it's going to be managed properly. And now they have, I think it's a $1.3 trillion sovereign fund. They provide every single social service you can imagine to their population. And yet here, in Alberta, what do we have? Debt, cuts, right? Just even the simplest of things. And so what I noticed, and this is where I think, again, that blind spot, the policies they've been following in Alberta have actually hurt them, because they're seeing that they lack the capacity to actually really jump on this green technology revolution. I'm not saying that they can't, but my goodness, when you look at the rest of the world and how there's the money to invest, and that it doesn't hurt the bottom line of our families as hard. I really have to say, Albertans should be critical about that and think, well, where did we go wrong? Why is it that it's so hard to transition? It shouldn't be that hard. There should have been decades ago the reality that oil is a finite resource. And so the second you deal with a finite resource, you should always be thinking about, plan B, right? Or what comes after.
Yeah.
The fact that they've never thought about that or very little is quite telling.
Yeah, it is, and it makes you wonder where did they go in the mismanagement and policies to wind up where they are right now? Because someone has to figure that, okay, so we're digging up a bunch of dead dinosaurs. Isn't that carbon going to rot out from these dead dinosaurs?
yeah.
So,
absolutely.
I mean, I would say I'm joking about it in one respect, but the seriousness of it is that it is an extremely finite resource.
Yeah.
So,
they were riding the high, right? It was for so many years, and Alberta is the darling of Canada, and when things weren't going really well in BC or anywhere else, right? There was this idea out there that Alberta was the king, and it could help everybody. And now that it's no longer there, it's scrambling, right? And I think that's where these more extreme voices are trying to capture that moment. And to be honest, sadly, when you look at the Trudeau government, it seems like, and this is all political, I don't think it actually deals with the people and the actual issues, it's not like they're going to give them what they want, but more that, oh no, we're going to build the pipeline. It's like they're going to continue with this fossil fuel economy in a way that's actually harmful, right? And it's sad to see that the government does not have a stronger backbone to say, no, here's the new plan, here's how we're going to transition, we're going to make sure that, we do protect the jobs of workers, but, we're just going to have to do this. So that worries me as well. It's not just the Wexit, it's the idea of how do we as Canadians react to that? How do we in BC react to that? If Albertans kind of keep complaining about pipeline this, pipeline that, are we going to stand strong and go no? And that should be a lot more than just the Indigenous nation. Every Canadian should really, kind of be a little stronger here to say, we're in a climate crisis, we have new technology, we really should be supporting those industries and building them up.
Well, I mentioned solar earlier, and one of the key things that some of the energy physicists, they are saying that the reason why we can't really go solar at this time is because we're seeing less than, I think it's 25% efficiency coming from out of the panels. They wanted to get closer to between 80 to 90% before they want to release this technology and actually try to power towns and cities and things like that. Well, I kind of understand that part. And my point is Alberta could be that one to actually polish that diamond because they have the resources available to them.
Absolutely. Did we only release the internet and wireless when it was 5G? No, right? I understand the idea, that's not a great number to have that low efficiency, but at the same time, the only way you're going to improve a technology is if you actually put it into practice, right? You actually put it out there. And again, that's why it's a transition. It's not just turn off the taps and here we go, right? It takes time. And we've seen great leaps and bounds in solar technology just in the time that we've been trying it out, right? So, again, and that's where I think, groups like Wexit and other kind of, contrarians to the green new technology, Green New Deal, is the idea, oh, well, it's not good enough yet, right? It's expensive. There's always another reason. It's like, right, but the only way, the first cars that rolled out were expensive, right? So they weren't made for the average working class person, right? They were these little toys, as it were. But look at us now, right? So it's something that I think when I hear such arguments in a climate crisis reality, where you have, maybe, even Canada, though, we are facing, twice the rate of things in our northern areas, right, of the impact of climate change. But, we have other places in the world, right, and this is really more environmental racism in a way, when you have people that are losing their homes, coastal areas, right, are no longer above water. This is serious, and we can't just wait for perfection. We need to start the process now. And I think we'll get there. I see the amazing things science can do. And let's be clear, I saw a recent article that actually said that Alberta actually has more jobs in the green sector than it does in oil now. So even in a place like Alberta, we know there are people there that can do that work. And just with a little bit more investment, just imagine, the speed of that we can improve, all these technologies.
Right. I agree with that. It's like it has been proven that once we put things into practice, that we improve it quickly. And we also find ways to duplicate those improvements equally as fast. Just let's look at the microchip itself. It's like it's become smaller, it's become faster, and how many countries around the world actually can produce a microchip? It's like, and by the thousands or millions they can produce these. So, and this has only been since the 1960s, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You make an interesting point in talking about the world, right? And I think, and hopefully, people can understand this, like there's a little bit of that white supremacist European thinking that somehow, only specific countries can get us to this future, right? So it has to be Canada and America, Western Europe. But that's just not the case, right? We're seeing, places like Morocco, China, India, like us, we all have the power and the knowledge needed to make this happen. And so I think to us, it's like, how do we really work together, right? Through like public institutions, it's not just something that gets commodified, but to actually like build this technology. And I worry about that it always seems like, well, if we don't have it, nobody has it. During the election, that was said a lot. We're the only ones. We're the only ones. But no, we're not, right? We are not the only ones. And that's where it's almost like Canada and other nations, for that matter, are falling behind. Because they keep thinking that, we've been topped off for so long, how is it possible that India could go, diesel-free or, whatever, fossil fuel-free? So they can, and they will. And either we're going to be there, going to be part of that process, or we're going to stick to our oil, and then all of a sudden, we're going to find ourselves in a really, really tough spot.
Yeah, we are going to find ourselves in an extremely tough spot, and that tough spot may be a little more choking than, please pardon it, please do not excuse that pun, because it's not really a pun.
No, it's not. No. Well, it's like a glass bubble, and we're pumping in the carbon dioxide, right?
Right.
That pad doesn't live. So, I don't know why, why we think that somehow we can beat what nature's doing, right? And I always say this, like to me, of course it's man-made, but we know that climate changes, right? We know this, like this is not something new. Yeah. So no matter what you believe, whether you think that the Industrial Revolution started that these people out of cycle, or that, it's just happened. We as humans, have the capacity to overcome that unless we change, the way we fuel our lives.
Yeah, and that's the whole point is if we want to survive as human beings, as a species, then we actually have to learn how to evolve our thinking and our culture so that we match our environment.
Yeah. And that's exactly full circle to why Wexit, we know, again, in some of the readings I've been doing, there's a lot of problematic things they believe in, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not socially justice conscious, right? They're very backward thinkers, and very, I don't want to say they're traditionalists, but they don't want to move forward. And it's not just about oil. And so, to me, that's very concerning that people seem to be believing in this idea. It's basically going to keep us, not even keep us here, it's going to take us back. Who wants to go back? There's no way that we can let that happen. And that's why I say we need to be stronger as Canadians to really take on that message and go, no, right? We have to really shut that down and not let it spread, into a more, mainstream idea.
Yeah. So I hope that lots of people in Alberta actually start listening to messages like what we were just saying, because this is literally this is our future. There's no turning back at this point.
Yeah. It's their future, and I would say that a message will not be enough, right? I get it, right? I mean, you have oil and gas workers that are in precarious work, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're just thinking, well, I need to make money, right, for my family, right? I need to put food on the table. Like, I get that desperation. And so to me, I would say as a government, we need to react to that. And, we saw that basically no party could promise a balanced budget, right?
Right.
Like maybe down the road, but pretty much it was that, well, we're in this deficit mode and we're going to have to do that for a bit. So if that is the case, let's really invest them, right? Let's use it like a mortgage. Let's put our money down, right? And build facilities right now. And to me, that would be amazing. If, when you open Parliament and, one of the first things you say is, we want to commit, this many billions of dollars to actually building a facility right now. So just like a pipeline, how they keep complaining about, it's being delayed, right? It's only going to be finished by this date. Well, when are green technologies actually going to be built? Right? Like, I want concrete answers here. Are we looking at 2021, 2022? Like, we know it's not going to happen overnight. These things take time. So I want to see that. And I think, I understand that Albertans want that as well. So I would wish that to give them the message of, look, Wexit's not going to work out. I live on the West Coast. I'm not willing to
right lane to keep right to merge onto TC1 West towards Vancouver.
Like semi-autonomous kind of territory. So, but I also want someone to say, well, you know what? I'm going to put the money down. We're going to put shovels in the ground, today. And that, I think, actually will help. So just as Wexit, they're just talking. There's no action there. How about our government who has the resources, how about they take the action? And that would be lovely to see. And I think that would really diminish kind of those voices. And let's be honest, politically speaking, any party that can do that would definitely get those votes in the future, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one, Viv. And we do just need to, like you said, it's a mortgage. It's like, this mortgage is very dependent on future generations and everything. Let's invest in it now and make it happen.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
So.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Annie.
Okay. No, I was going to say, I like your point about future generations. I'm a high school educator, and I see that we need to change the way we teach. There's jobs that'll exist 3 years from now that don't exist today. So the investment goes a lot further than just kind of a building. It's going to have to be, a reconstructing of how we view ourselves and how we live in this world. We believe in exploitation or exploitation, right? Like every single bit of how we live our life is going to have to change. We've been on this industrial kind of kick for a very long time, and now it's how do we push forward into, and sorry, when I say forward, I look at Indigenous nations, I look at Indigenous ways of knowledge, and how, we need to almost go back in that sense to really bring those ideas forward again, if we're to see future generations really go down this path.
Yeah. So, if you were were actually Prime Minister of Canada, what would be, just as a final thought, what would you actually try to accomplish right here, right now, to push everything forward, so we have the economy we need?
Yeah. So I think I would put together right away, actually a bit of a complex, and I would invite, all these smaller technological, companies. Like I know there's one in Squamish where they sequester carbon and they turn it into clean fuel that can be put in our cars right now, right? That's one example. There's indigenous nations that are opening, solar cell, panel areas, right? I would bring those people in. You bring in all these futuristic technologies, and you actually make a plan, and you go, okay, I make a strong decision. I'm going to invest in you, right? Instead of giving corporate welfare and cuts and subsidies to fossil fuels, going, okay, we're going to take those billions of dollars and I'm going to put it right fairly in front of you. What do you need? And if they say, well, we need facilities, we need people, we need training centers, that's where I would put the money. And I would do it right away. This is not a 20-year goal. This is within several years of getting those things going. That's what I would do. And I would look at places in Canada that are really struggling in terms of economic growth. And if Albertans really feel that it's that dire, then we've got to take action that way. And we've got to stand up to big oil. Because at the end of the day, if all big oil does is say, how dare you, and they try to kick you out of office, well then that proves that we're nothing but a photocracy.
Take the exit.
That proves that oil, is the only thing that goes in Canada. And I'm sick and tired of that. Right? Canadians should not want that.
3 kilometers.
And so,
keep right
taking a little bit of that Norway model and kind of going, we're going to take our land back, we're going to take our people back, and because I've seen the innovation, we know that Canadians are innovating. We know that there's technologies that are out there that are ready to be rolled out. They just need that mass injection of funds. And, you think about kind of the New Deal, right? How do you move forward? But this would be a clean New Deal. This would be one that would actually empower indigenous nations. You're not exploiting their land. You're not, unceded territories, right? You're not, you're not putting people in jobs that are precarious. You're thinking for the future. So I really would. I mean, kind of get those people together in one room, dedicate to them, the federal resources that we can provide, and like I said, invest, right? And then show the Canadians how that investment in the long term will make more sense in terms of the air they breathe, will make more sense of the money in their pockets, and will make more sense when it comes to actually protecting our indigenous rights. So that would be actually implementing UNCRIP and things of that nature. So that's what I would do. It's a big leap, but if you don't do it, then we're not going anywhere. And instead, we waste our time talking about Wexit. Honestly, why do they get any time at all? Right? What about the Albertans that are struggling? Right? Like, I would rather speak to those Albertans and actually get a game plan going where I know for a fact they'd be open to transition rather than someone that wants to, literally bury us in the mud, right? And like you say, right, continue to suck up dinosaurs,
Save 3 minutes
to a future of what? To a future of smog, and to a future where we literally, have no energy to run on.
Right. Well, thank you for your time today, Annie.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Okay. We'll talk to you later.
Yes, talk to you later.
This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.